Let's kick it. Ice, baby. Hi, fans. Welcome to this next installment of Inside the Igloo, our third segment of this series, where we give you an inside look of the Jacksonville Icemen hockey team. And today we got a special guest who's actually our first signing for the upcoming All-Star season for Jacksonville Icemen hockey. And that is an All-Star himself, in forward Brendan Warren. Brendan, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Reader.
Not a problem. It's good to see you, my friend. And of course, obviously, you are the first. And I know that we did the segment on social media, the top, the fans' choice for the top Iceman players. I think you were number 4 on the list. Congratulations on that. Later that day,
Thanks.
we announced you as the first signing. But obviously, everyone's really excited to have you back in the fold for next year. And just really want to get your initial reaction to really what's going to be your second year professionally and then returning to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. There was really not a whole lot of thought put into it. When Coach Christie wanted me to come back, I definitely wanted to be in Jacksonville. So I'm excited to get started in the fall and get back in Jacksonville and get in the swing of things and start my second year of pro hockey.
You know, you came in, and I know just a few weeks into the season, you were with the Indy Fuel for a little bit. They had a little bit of a numbers crunch, and I know Coach Christie was ecstatic to be able to pick you up. He had heard some good things about you in the scouting report, and you came right in as really one of the hardest working guys. It was evident right there in your first couple practices. You were hustling and got the job done, but you still had to adjust to the pro level, and that's actually one of the questions we got from one of our fans, Michael on Twitter, just asking what are the differences between the pro level and the collegiate level. Having to make that transition, and it seemed to go okay for you, but was there an adjustment period?
There was a little bit. I don't think there was as much of an adjustment as I thought, maybe because going to Michigan and playing in the Big Ten, the competition was really good. So coming in, the competition level was pretty similar. I think the biggest thing for me was the frequency of the games. You go from playing 1 or 2 games in a weekend to playing 3 or 4 games during the week, and or 4 games in 5 days or something like that. And it takes a toll on the body. And then all the bus trips, going from flying at Michigan to busing all over the place in Jacksonville, that was tough. So it's just a little bit of adjustment for the body, I think, was the biggest thing.
Yeah, you look at that adjustment, and it's something a lot of people don't really realize is, in college you're playing 30, 40 games a season, playing more on the weekends, where all of a sudden now if you're playing 72 games, plus what you hope is playoffs, and then, of course, like I said, the 4 and 5s, and we had a ton of those this year,
Mm-hmm.
the 3 and 3s. I mean, is there anything that you can do? You talk about that adjustment, but what did you learn? Is there anything you had to kind of figure out on how to get your body prepared? Because it's tough in that final game in a stretch like that, especially when you get to the third period of that last game.
Yeah, definitely. I think just the biggest thing was hydration, rest, and then eating the right things. And then your body kind of just feels better naturally doing those things. But then you got to do the stretching and the warming up, the cooling down, and all that, and just keep taking care of your body. Otherwise, yeah, like you said, those Sunday games at 3 o'clock are pretty tough.
I'll tell you on those trips, and I know how tired I can be with it. And I just always I always remind myself, yeah, but I don't have to play a game and myself. So I don't know how you guys do it, but you can see it though from sometimes why it's so important. Maybe in that last game of a 3 or a 4 and 5, how important it is to get off to a good start, because it doesn't get any easier as that game lingers.
Oh, yeah.
And you can kind of see it on really both sides. That both teams have had to play a 3 and 3. You can see both teams really just pushing and grinding it out.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, I think, about who takes care of themselves better, and then maybe just a little bit of who wants it more on a Sunday. So
There you go. Well, Brendan, look at I mentioned at the start of the segment, you're the first signing for the team this year, and everyone's excited about that. You were the team's representative of the All-Star last year, the All-Star game last year there in Wichita, but now the All-Star game is going to be here in Jacksonville. So it's an All-Star season. You're going to be playing in another one. Really, what can fans expect of really the whole atmosphere? You had a chance to kind of absorb it all in. You didn't have a lot of time, but really, if you're a fan watching this, you're like, okay, as a player going into an All-Star situation, you've been through one now. Really, what can people expect about in Jacksonville come January?
it's a really good atmosphere. Like last year in Wichita, we had a day before the actual event, like the games and stuff. We had a day around the hotel and in the community and stuff, and people came, and the Stanley Cup was there, and all the the big trophies from the NHL, and people got to see those, and then meet all the players and kind of mingle and get stuff signed. So that was cool for fans and for players too. But on the ice, they're going to see a lot of skill and just people having fun and messing around, and it's a good atmosphere for the games. And it's really fun to watch. So I'm excited to be part of it again this year in Jacksonville, and I think Jacksonville's a perfect place for it.
Yeah, without question. And of course, we'll have all the details of the Fan Fest and everything that'll be happening, here in the coming months. But you look at last year's All-Star game in Wichita, different format than we're going to have this year. Obviously, this season it's going to be the entire Icemen team against the All-Stars.
Oh,
yeah. So that is going to be the format. So everyone's an All-Star this year on the Icemen. So. But it is going to be just a regular game, but head-to-head against the All-Stars. It should be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I think that's neat because it's going to get the fans really get behind you guys because it is Bill's team going against the league's best.
Yeah, for sure. Like last year, we was just 4 teams to 3-on-3, so maybe it wasn't as much of Wichita fans getting behind their team as much as maybe it will be this year. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, without question. Well, you look at being selected as an all-star in your rookie campaign, and your thoughts on getting the nod there and getting the opportunity. I mean, it's a good way to showcase yourself. It's a nationally televised game, and there's a lot of all eyes in the hockey world are watching that night. And for you, was it a special experience? And how did you take the news when you were told that you were heading to Wichita last year?
Yeah, that was a huge honor. Coach Christie called me into his office, and he was the first one to tell me before anything broke on the internet. That's obviously a goal of mine going into the season, and it was definitely exciting once he told me that I was going to be going. As far as showcasing myself in an all-star game, I don't know if that's totally true because we were kind of just going out there and messing around, which is actually nice because you don't really get to go out and not take things too seriously. So that's fun.
Well, you look at last season after the All-Star game, which took place in January, that seemed to be kind of the turning point for the team, the Icemen team in general. It just seems as if a couple moves were made, but then it started to click, and the team was just on a little bit of a different level. You could see it there, especially in the month of February, heading into the March, and you guys certainly put yourself in a position to make a playoff push despite a slow start early in the year. But really, would you agree with that? Really what kind of got things going there in the second half of the year? Because without question, even in the games maybe you lost, you guys were really right there. You were competing. And then, of course, you guys were stringing some wins together, making that push. Really, what was it, and what do you attribute it to?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Like, I don't remember, or I've never been on a team that changes so much during a year. We went through a lot of players and a lot of changes, and eventually it came down. We got the right group together, and we had some chemistry going, and everyone was on the same page and started committing to a game plan, and we all wanted to win really bad. And then once we saw we were getting close to a playoff position, it just came down to the wire, and we were battling to get that done. And then the season unfortunately ended before we got a chance to. But I think everyone just we had some meetings, and we came together finally and started putting games together, and things just started to click.
Yeah, without question. And you looked at just seemed as if there were players like other rookies, like Bob Lynch, for example, a guy that I think you could see him making that adjustment, that transition from juniors into the pro level, and then once he got it, he started stringing things together, and it did seem like it was starting to click there towards the end of the year. And then of course it disappointingly came to an end with everything related to COVID-19. Really, what was the mindset of the guys when it became apparent that the season was coming to an end?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We were practicing one day, and then the next we were packing up and getting ready to go home. So yeah, it was crazy. That, yeah. It was super abrupt, and I know guys were pretty bummed out that we didn't get to try to finish what we were going for, trying to make the playoffs. But we got to do what we got to do with the health and safety precautions, and just got to follow the rules, I guess.
Yeah, no, well, that's all you can do. And it's so unprecedented. Obviously, something that hadn't happened before and had to deal with, and it's still something I think people are adjusting to. And we'll see how things play out. But for you get to go back home. They're up in the state of Michigan. Is that correct? Is that where you're at right now?
Yep,
All
Carlton,
right.
Michigan.
So what have you been doing? I mean, obviously you talk about the off season. It came early for you guys, unfortunately, but it's the quarantine season. So what have you been doing during the keep yourself busy?
Well, for the first little bit after the season ended, it was just kind of hanging out and relaxing and getting your body to feel better again. And I went golfing a few times, just relaxed a bunch, played some video games with friends, hung out with some guys. Um, Actually, no, I didn't hang out with anyone because it was quarantine. So,
That's a no. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, now I'm getting more into training and skating. So I'm kind of ramping things up again, and that's been fun too. So, yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
basically all I've been doing.
well, that's what I was going to ask you. Obviously, with with lockdowns and things such as that, businesses closing, gyms not being readily available. Are you getting back? Are you able to get into the working out and skating again?
Yeah, my gym just opened last Monday, so I finally got to start doing that, and then starting to skate this week. But other than that, my parents have a gym in their basement, so that's been really big for me too.
Oh,
So
yeah, well, that's yeah.
I'm lucky enough to have that.
Definitely one of the lucky ones there. And honestly, from a player's perspective, I mean, you've been fortunate you could stay with it. Um, do you think conditioning will be a problem for some players who maybe didn't have access to that stuff because because of what's happened here with COVID-19? There'll be some guys really sucking some wind here come training camp.
um, I hope not by training camp, but maybe.
Right.
But right now, I'm sure
Yeah.
people are hurting a little bit. But the rink should all be opened up by then, and then I'm sure people will be skating, and hopefully they're in shape by training camp.
We could hope. We certainly hope. No, I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's a big talking point with the NFL right now. A lot of their players can't get into facilities, and obviously they're going to start a little bit sooner.
right.
They indeed do move forward, but sooner than maybe we would start. But yeah, it's just something that you maybe just don't think of. Wow, the access and what are guys doing to workouts? And I talked to former Iceman Garrett Hunt in our previous segment on this show, and he was on a lake up in Michigan, and I asked him a little bit about what he's been doing to stay in shape, and he just said, I just swim across the lake every day. So that's what he's been doing. I mean, it's so, and of course he's been doing some other things, of course, but everyone has to get a little bit unique with it. But so really, let's talk about Michigan with everything going on up there. I know that they've been in the news a little bit with the state being shut down and stuff, but really, is it up there, and how's everyone doing? Hopefully, everyone's staying safe.
Yeah, I think things are starting to open up now, and it's getting a little bit back to normal. So I think everyone's happy about that. But it was definitely a crazy time for at least a couple months. Um, yeah, like you said, we were in the news and everything. So yeah, it was a crazy time for a while, but I think things are getting better and everyone's you know back to normal almost.
Yeah, this is it's interesting, for certain, and of course, things all over the country now starting to take shape again, and we'll see how it plays out, Brendan. And of course, we talk about the state of Michigan. It's where you hail out of. You grew up, and obviously you go and play at the University of Michigan. Was there really any other choice for you? Were you blue all the way through growing up, or how did it work out to
Yeah,
the University of Michigan for your college hockey?
yeah, I was pretty much Michigan all the way growing up. My mom went to Michigan too, so it was in my family. And then just growing up 30 minutes away, obviously I was a huge fan of them. And we went to some games growing up too, and I loved it. So I always wanted to go there. And when I was about 15, I think, when I started talking to them and they gave me the opportunity to go there, I was ecstatic, obviously.
You were drafted by the Phoenix Coyotes, third round, I think in 2015. Everyone talks about their draft day story. You care to share yours about just getting the opportunity at someone that age getting drafted? What was that experience like? Were you there? Did you get a call? Everyone has a different one. Just really what the feeling is like when you got an NHL team giving you a buzz.
Yeah, I was there with my parents and my sisters, and my uncle was there too. It wasn't anything too crazy. We were just, sitting in the stadium and hearing names get called off, and we were waiting for a while, and then they finally called my name, and that was a super exciting time for me, and being able to share it with my family was super special. But yeah, got my name called, and I walked down to the table and met everybody in the organization and put the jersey on, and that was really exciting for me. Unfortunately, I'm no longer with them, but that day was super special.
Yeah, of course. And it is just the draft day. I know so many times the rights to players will shift and move throughout before that course that takes place. But obviously, everyone has a different draft day story. So it's pretty neat you were there actually in person.
Yep.
It's a pretty cool thing. Well,
Yeah, that was in Florida too, so it's nice.
yeah, so it's a precursor to coming here to Jacksonville. And of course, you talked
Right.
about Jacksonville. Now that you spent some time here, it's going to be your second home now. But what's what's some of the things that you like most about playing in North Florida here?
The weather.
It was pretty obvious, wasn't it? Yeah, the weather, which has been pretty good.
Going to the rink in a t-shirt and flip flops every day is not bad. But yeah, Jacksonville was awesome last year. And the fan base was a lot more than I ever expected. They made every game super exciting to play at home, and that's something that you obviously want as a player. You don't want to be in empty stadiums and quiet crowds. So that was really fun playing in front of them, and I'm looking forward to do that again this year. But yeah, so weather, fans, and there was some really good food around.
Anything in particular you remember?
What's that burrito place by the river? I forgot what it's called.
Oh goodness,
that place is yeah.
It's a burrito. Really, you can't go wrong with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, it's funny. I ask that question to guys, and the answer is usually weather, the fans, and flip flops. That's usually what I get everybody. So you just said what everybody said. Let's probably stop asking the question because I know what the response is going to be more likely. Well, speaking of questions, we got one. We asked for people to give them on Twitter. I talked with you answered one earlier from Michael on Twitter. And then, of course, a familiar face had a question for you, Brendan. Wasey Rabbit. And he said, who's your favorite road roommate and why? And is it him? Is it me, as he says? So, care to answer that always?
I don't want to say it, but I don't want it to go to his head, but I would probably have to pick Wasey.
Okay.
He's just hilarious, and we like to joke around and talk politics. He likes to rip me for politics. So he's fun to be around, and we get along pretty well. So he's probably my favorite.
You look at him; he's a veteran guy. Honestly, at the guys like him and Johnny Albert there at the end of the year, and you look at those guys that seen a lot of games, a lot of action at the next level. How beneficial was having some guys like that? Some of the veteran experience in the room for you as a rookie last year.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. Like we had, like you said, John Wasey, we had Mike Hedden, Emerson Clark, and those guys were great, and they were obviously really helpful in the transition and giving us, tips and just kind of talking us through situations, and just being good teammates. Honestly, was the biggest thing, having them around and keeping the atmosphere light.
Well, listen, Brendan, it's been great. It's been great to catch up with you. I just appreciate your time, and obviously everyone's really pumped to have you back in the fold for next season. I know the roster is coming together pretty nicely here. Coach has been on the phone as well. So, but in the meantime, please take care of yourself, and we'll be seeing you here soon.
Yeah, will do. Sounds good, Reader. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, not a problem. Take care, Brendan.
All right, take care. Stay safe.
All right, that's Brendan Warren joining us here in this segment. We will wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate everybody's questions here on Inside the Igloo, and we hope that you'll join us in future segments. They'll be coming here throughout the summer. In the meantime, check out JacksonvilleIcemen.com. It's our all-star season, all kinds of great packages available that include tickets to the All-Star Classic in January. So, again, go to JacksonvilleIcemen.com for more information. In the meantime, I've been Alex Reed. Thanks for watching Inside the Igloo.
Let's kick it.